Hello, this is the School Enhancement Project by Jennifer Monaghan for Newman University in September of 2016. Alone we can do so little, and together we can do so much. Helen Keller. This project was implemented at Curtis Middle School in Wichita, Kansas, and will demonstrate my understanding of KSDE Standard 2. The need for this project came very early on in the school year. We have 15 less days in our school calendar this year as we did last year, and so we have very short testing windows. We also had an unexpected illness of our data leader. He was gone from school for 2 weeks, recovering much slower from a surgery than he thought, and so we had a very late start on our Ames web testing. At one of our building leadership team meetings, I am a new coach at Curtis Middle School, and at first I was just watching to see how Curtis Middle School runs things, but then I noticed we only have 1.5 weeks left to test 750 students with the Ames Web Benchmark Math and Language Arts tests. So we talked as a team, and we knew that we would not be able to implement the plan that they normally use, and so we definitely needed to come up with a creative solution. So I pitched an idea that we had used at my former school, and we as a group decided to call it the Interdisciplinary Project Support Plan. It is based on my personal belief that we can get so much more done together as a team, and that we perform better when we do work together. This project is supported by research, and basically the premise of the project is that all of the teachers in the various content disciplines work together throughout the school year to help each other accomplish the major testing pieces. The Professional Standards for Educational Leaders, formerly known as the ISLIC standards, support this project. Standard 7 strongly supports this project. It's the professional community for teachers and staff. And this standard speaks to effective educational leaders foster a professional community of teachers and other professional staff to promote each student academic success and well-being. One of the subpoints of Standard 7 talks about the collective responsibility for meeting students' academic needs, and this project places that responsibility to all of the teachers as a whole instead of just the language arts or math teachers, for example. This promotes mutual accountability among teachers, and if implemented well and over time, we can develop open, productive, caring, and trusting working relationships, which is what Standard 7 also stands for. Standard 10, the school improvement standard, is a very good support for this project because this project improves the efficient use of time to accomplish the benchmark testing so that teachers get back into the classroom and will have more actual instructional time by getting a massive amount of testing done so quickly. Teachers can more quickly set up and implement progress monitoring measures by getting the testing done very quickly. And this also helps to instill that feeling of mutual commitment and accountability for all of the teachers to get this done. Standard 10 also speaks to developing and promoting leadership among teachers and staff for initiating and implementing improvement, also for experimentation and innovation. I personally am the person who pitched the idea, and from personal experience, I have to say that it feels great to pitch an idea, to have the team listen, make adjustments to what is realistic, and to actually implement my idea. And we made it our idea over the course of all the changes, but I am very, very pleased with the way that things turned out. The final research point that supports this project is that we as a building leadership team loosely followed the analytical decision-making model. It all happened very quickly. The actual analytical decision-making model has very prescribed steps where a team will identify a problem, analyze that problem, develop alternatives, assess those alternatives, and then select the most appropriate alternative. And then works to hammer out the details to implement the choice, and then when it's all over, to evaluate the process. In some way, we did each of those steps together as a leadership team. I believe this project also embodies Curtis Middle School's mission and vision statements. The mission statement speaks to providing a quality education to students in a safe and caring environment and to foster those skills necessary for success. Well, I think that collaboration is one of the skills that is necessary for success, and modeling that for our kids as a group of teachers, I think is very, very important. I also think that it supports the vision of Curtis Middle School. The very end of the vision talks about providing a safe and nurturing, culturally responsive, and inclusive learning community. I believe that this project can help shape the culture of Curtis Middle School as a place where people work together to accomplish things, and that we are including all of the teachers and we are learning about each other's disciplines and the types of testing that we have to accomplish. The purpose of the project is to accomplish the district testing initiatives in a timely manner over the course of the year. It is also to establish a school culture of working together as a team across the various content areas. This project will minimize the loss of instructional time that is taken by so many testing initiatives throughout the year. We will be able to use this interdisciplinary project throughout the year, first of all with the Ames Web benchmark testing and grading windows that happen 3 times a year. We will be able to help grade the essays that the students write for the social studies department in the form of their district-based question. We call those the DBQs. We will be able to help grade the science performance assessments, the written portion of that. And we will also be able to help the ESOL department grade the writing portion of the English language proficiency assessment in the spring. The professional learning plan for this interdisciplinary project support plan, it began by a brief explanation to the staff about what the plan was, followed by giving an initial survey that assessed staff members' willingness to participate and to determine which assignments staff members would feel comfortable performing. Unfortunately, I would have liked to have spent more time getting buy-in from staff, because I believe that people participate much better when they have a voice in how things are rolled out. Due to the time crunch, we had to settle with going with the plan that the building leadership team approved and hope for the best. We used professional development time, so the teachers didn't have to give up any of their own personal planning time, which is against their contract. We used our professional development time to deploy the teachers to support each other in either grading the tests, substitute teaching while others tested, or joining those teachers to also test the kids. For the most part, math teachers received grading assistance in the professional development room. Language arts teachers were able to pull their own students to give the fluency RCBM test, or to go to a colleague's room to test their students. The social studies teachers, for the most part, served as substitute teachers in the language arts classes, and the science teachers stayed back in the PD room to help the math teachers grade their tests. At the end of this testing window, the next professional development session, we gave a post survey to staff to have them assess, in their own opinion, their ability to be successful in the role that was assigned to them, We wanted to know what their willingness to participate again was like, and we wanted to learn ideas for improving the project as a whole. The students with exceptionalities were considered in the development of this plan. All students were tested in accordance with their IEPs. The Ames Web screeners sometimes help to identify students who have exceptionalities, and IEP case managers use Ames Web data as one piece of data when they are doing the annual reevaluations for the students in the special education program or the gifted and talented program. Some of the things that were included for students with exceptionalities, some kids were exempt from Ames Web testing. Some kids needed specific quiet testing environments. Some students were tested separately and alone. Some kids needed to be tested by an adult that was familiar to them and instead of a guest teacher in their classrooms. And the IEP managers made sure that the students on their caseload had any other unique needs that were written into their IEP plans. Leading professional learning and utilizing technology. I created a Word document detailing everyone's role in the plan. You can see that in the appendix of the paper. I shared the plan with grade level teams during a professional development session. I facilitated a question and answer session, and I made adjustments based on staff recommendations. I was able to meet most of the requests because they were very helpful and reasonable. And there were some details that I had overlooked. So it was a useful session. I also gave a PowerPoint demonstration of how to administer the RCBM tests online via the Ames Web database. We have 3 new language arts teachers, and it's always good to refresh veteran teachers' memories of how to use the online system. Teachers were also given time to share the lesson plan with the visiting teachers who were covering their classes, and the final PowerPoint demonstration of how to grade the MCAP and MCOM tests were given to the math and science teachers just to make sure that everybody was on the same page. We used technology to collect data in this project. We gave an initial survey via SurveyMonkey and a post-survey via SurveyMonkey, which is an online survey service. We also gave the RCBM tests online to the students, so the fluency data was captured online as the students were testing. The MAIS, the MCAP, and the MCOP test results were manually entered into the Ames Web system, and so that data was ready to be pulled into reports. Email was used to communicate daily in the testing process, and our data leader ran daily Ames Web reports to determine testing progress and to encourage us. The results of this project overall were very good. All of the students were given all 4 of the Ames Web screeners. All of the screeners were graded, and the scores were entered on time into the online Ames Web testing system. It felt like we had accomplished quite a feat because we worked hard to get it done in such a short time. The majority of teachers reported that they were successful in carrying out their roles and that they would participate again. The science teachers as a whole were very unhappy to participate because the science performance assessment is not a requirement this year. In the past, it has been a requirement for the 7th and 8th grades, but this year, for some reason, they took it off the list. And so they were very unhappy that they felt like they had been forced to help, and they felt like they were not going to get paid back for having given the help, and they really wanted that feeling of reciprocity. So we gave them a free PD session to skip at some point in the future. These are my references for the essay and this project.